Hey everybody, welcome back to I Know a Guy. If you're new here, my name's Anthony. I'm a business profit advocate. Here we interview entrepreneurs, business owners, professionals, and people just doing cool things. For example, today we're talking with Nathan Rosenlund. He's the owner of Kodiak Consulting Group, which specializes in building a strategy for the growth of any small business, especially those in the trades. How you doing today, Nathan?
I'm doing awesome, except for it's snowing, so that means I have to get ready to plow.
Is it coming down pretty good? Is it going to amount to anything? You think it's going to stick?
I didn't even look, but it's melting as it hits. But I just bought a snowblower for my tractor, so that's why it's snowing before I picked it up.
Yeah, definitely how that works out. Okay, awesome. So where are you calling in from with all that snow?
Duluth, Minnesota. So northern part of Minnesota, right at the tip of Lake Superior.
Okay. I've never made it that north into Minnesota. What's fun up there if for somebody new to the area?
Oh, you got to get a tour of the place. It's a very hilly town. It's 22 miles long, about 8 miles wide, about 90,000 people. So they got old to new, but seeing the town, we've got a few towns close by that have the shopping centers and all that, but we're known for our skis, for our skiing, for our biking, our hills, and the views that you get up the North Shore. So the
Okay.
gateway to the North Shore.
Okay. Awesome. What time of year do you recommend people visit if it's
Oh.
going to be super snowy and stuff?
Fall or spring. It depends on what you like to do. So
Mm.
if you like to just see the North Shore and the leaves changing, come in the early fall, middle of the fall, go up the North Shore. You'll get to see stuff you've never seen before just because of the high altitude and the rocks and the trails and the waterfalls. If you like the no mosquito thought, come in the spring, right when it's starting to warm up and the leaves are starting to bloom. It's pretty cool to see the country at that time. Middle of summer, it's not that we're hot, it's just that we're full of mosquitoes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. They're awful. I can't
Yeah.
stand them. So early spring, got it. That's when I'll show up. Or dead of winter. I like skiing and stuff too. So
Yeah, let me know and I'll give you a tour and then we'll eat some really good places. So
don't threaten me with a good time. I'll be up there. But all right. So what can you tell us about Kodiak Consulting Group?
Kodiak was formed almost 2 years ago to help small business owners have someone to count on, have someone to turn to, have someone to guide them through the ups and downs of businesses. Many times they feel alone or they don't know how to make a decision or they don't have someone to bounce it off of. And when I started Kodiak, that was some of the things I wanted to make sure I offered my clients. And it's actually how I've kept some of my clients for almost 2 years
Okay.
because they have someone they can turn to, talk to, and be there with them. And at the same time, building strategy with them. And strategy is a broad word, but building strategy with them that can help them so they know what they're doing is going for a bigger, a greater picture than what they're dealing with right now.
Okay. So you're 2 years old. What inspired you to start Kodiak? What was that kind of, what got you started down this path?
So my story starts back about 8, 9 years ago. I was working for a company that brought on a business coach. And after our first training, I went home that night and I told my wife that I'm going to be a business coach. I never even knew this world was out there. So my previous business I had, I didn't even know that you could have sold it, that it was worth something to somebody if it was set up right. Instead, I shut it down. And so this guy was doing this training with us as a company, and I was like, "Oh, that would be so cool to do what he's doing." And then I just started self-educating and learning. So I've got a master's degree in self-education in the business world, you could say, and sales world. I've read books and watched and learned and talked to. It's just been an amazing adventure for me that way. And then now to put it all into practice and helping businesses actually achieve stability, it's been great. So my story starts way back then. My love for construction starts way back when I was in high school. I started working for my brothers, pounding the nails and huffing the boards. And I was actually determined to get out of it. And I never did. So for the next 25 years of my life, I was in the construction trade and became a cabinet maker by trade. So if you can dream it with wood, we can build it. Uh, it's a, it's not something that comes natural to me, but it's something I really enjoy doing, making stuff out of wood and cabinets, from cabinets to countertops to little widgets, whatever you're thinking about. And then as promotions came and advancement, I was kept going down the office management leadership side. So that really gave me a broad education in real world construction. So I know both sides of the fence, you could say, in the field and in the office. So
Having
I combined
those
it. So that's when I started Kodiak. I combined my experience in of my past life, you could call it, with my desire to help businesses, and then came together and created Kodiak Consulting Group.
yeah, having those hard won experiences, like you said, you had the learning curve that you kind of had to go through. At the moment they kind of suck. But when you come out the other side, you not only do you have a wealth of knowledge that is going to help you with your business, but there's a lot of people out there, and this is a testament to you using it for coaching. There's a lot of people out there that need what you know, because they're going to go through it one way or another. They're either going to be told about it so they can avoid it, or they're going to red headlong into it and learn the hard way. So being able to bypass that pain but still make that growth is huge, is huge. So that's awesome. So what's your favorite thing about what you're doing? You've been doing it for a couple of years now. You gotta like something about it.
Oh, I think it's when a client calls me with a victory. They were my favorite. Even just last week, I got a text from one of my clients and it just said, I got the guy. And he put the name of the guy, but I'm not going to say his name, but he said, I got the guy. And I knew exactly what he was talking about. He had a sales call and he signed him up. So them victories that they share with you are the funnest. They just are like, yeah. Other things is like listening to what people are struggling with and finding out where they are and then helping them overcome that. So many times it can just be, well, we've all experienced this, right? We have to have this done by this date. You have to make this much profit, this much money, this much stuff. They put all these metrics on us. Sometimes we forget that we're dealing with a human. And so when they come to you and they're talking about what they're struggling with, I make sure that the human isn't lost in that experience. And then we put a plan into place or work through whatever it's got to teach. Sometimes you can solve the problem instantly. Sometimes it takes a while to solve it. But you have these conversations with them that talk them through how to think about it logically while never losing the emotions that make people human,
Okay.
if
What
that
are
makes sense.
Yeah, it really does. Um, what are some of the hard lessons that you learned early on, either in your career as a whole or since you started Kodiak, that if you had to start over today, you would do different?
We're going to be here a while with this one, right? Fail forward is how I view things in life. I stole that from someone else, but it's truly what I do. Okay, you have to try stuff. You have to take risk. And sometimes in the risk you don't always succeed. So when I first started my business, first example that comes to mind is I was going to be an everything to everyone. Well, that didn't help anyone. I was too broad. I was trying to run around. It's like trying to run a race. The finish line is there. I know what I'm trying to do, but then I run backwards for 500 paces before I run forward. And I just spent all this time and energy trying to put together this perfect little snapshot of how to be an everything to everyone. And it took me a little bit to overcome that. So that was probably the first example. So my lesson I learned from that is niche down, know what you do and who you do it for. You don't have to be the know-it-all. You can just be the provider of who to go to if you don't know. So, in like this incident, if you were like, hey, I really don't know how to fix this problem and it's something I don't know, I would say, hey, Anthony, why don't you call Steve over here? Steve can help you. He's much better at that than me. So I learned that. One of the other ones is pay better attention to your finances. Don't just take it for granted you're going to make money. So don't listen to the noise out there that says business is successful overnight, that you are successful overnight, that if you want to do what you want to do, follow your passion and your dream. But if there's 5 million people that are providing the same exact passion and dream, it doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you got to work a little harder than everyone else because you got to stand out amongst all them people. So don't listen to the noise out there from social media, from magazines, newspapers. I know I'm saying them, but it works together. This outside noise that puts pressure on us as humans, and especially as business owners, that success will just happen overnight, or it's very few of us that can succeed overnight. most successful. In fact, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say 99.5% of all successful people. So whether they're rich, living financial freedom at a certain age, have a good company, have a sustainable company, all that stuff, 99.5 of them, it has taken time. And so me too. I had to learn that it takes time. So looking back, I would have hired a bookkeeper quicker. It took me 11 months to do that. I would have done it. I should have done it right away. Is one of the other lessons in life. And then it feels like I'm always learning from what doesn't work still to this day. I mean, I could keep going, but those are two big ones that came to mind.
No, those are both really good ones too. Success, a lot of people, I think they get it wrong in their head. They think success is like the end goal. You can have successes every day along the way too. You hired your first employee. You got that bookkeeper finally that you probably should have did sooner.
Yeah.
So, many successes lead up to, grand successes. So that's important. And then you mentioned, niching down. In the intro, we talked about it that you can help the growth of all small businesses, but especially trades. What's a good client look like for you? Somebody that going in, you're going to be able to help.
So you hear the term trades, construction, remodelers, electricians, plumbers, right? Instead, let's picture the person, male or female. They're the people you trust to come into your home to fix your sinks, to fix your electrical problems, to put the addition on your house, to replace your windows, to put the deck on, to seal the driveway. Those people, to fix the leaky roof, to name a few. So that's what I mean by trades. Ideal client is any one of them that is trying to, what they come to realize is the company is bigger than themselves. They love what they do, but they don't know how to do the business side of it. And they're being forced to do the business stuff, the stuff that gives them the hives and the heebies, you could call it. Well, I can step in and help them put systems and processes in place so they don't have to do that anymore.
Mhm. Yep.
So,
That's super important because if you're a really good plumber and you're really good at plumbing doesn't mean you're good at the rest of the stuff. So having somebody to help you through that, so you can take it off your plate's huge. What about power partners, people that you maybe synergize well with, other industries that you can work back and forth well with?
well, those that don't those that don't have the same expertise that I have. So I invented the six-sided business model based upon the Rubik's Cube. If you think about it, there's six colors. So, but each side of this cube is represented by something. So there's leadership, operations, finance, sales, marketing, and employees. So what you do with those six is if you stabilize all six of them, so your Rubik's Cube is put back in order, you have a pretty good company and all the foundational stuff is done. But I'm not an expert in the finance arm. I'm not an expert in the marketing arm. I'm not an expert even in the employee. And part of the employee I'm pretty good at, but not like the HR and the compliance and the benefits and all that. So I partner with people that do them kind of things. They're they're not just the CFOs. They don't call themselves fractional CFOs, but they call themselves financial advisors even. Are one area that we're not very good at. Tax strategists are another, bookkeepers, accountants, and then you get into the other side of it, you get into marketing. So whether you're a marketing agency or whether you're a marketer or a content creator or a website builder. And then when you get into the employees, it's the recruiters. It is the people that provide the benefits. I know it's like a Aflac. I'm not saying I need to partner with Aflac, but those kind of benefits that help the employees out, getting your knowledge up on them and then creating partnerships to help them get through their where I lack, they are strong. So we come together and it's really strong than what we do for our clients.
Okay. Yeah, knowing where your strengths are and partnering with the people that can rising tide kind of deal.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Well, is there anything that I failed to ask, anything that I missed that you really wanted to touch on?
No, what I was thinking about though, and I didn't do maybe enough emphasis on it, but I'm just going to give you a quick couple things to think about when you're going to hire a coach or consultant. Um, Number one, the first thing is you want to vet them. So that means you have to have trust with them. And trust can be, it's a beautiful thing, but we might be good guys or girls that are coaches and consultants and advisors, but also make sure that they can bring you somewhere, bring you to what you're trying to achieve. because everybody's business depends on where they're at. They're in different spots, and not everybody's going to work with everybody. So number one, find someone that you can click with, vet with, trust with, whatever. Number two, make sure they have systems themselves that will bring you somewhere. So everything that I do is foundational upon the six-sided business model. You should be finding the same thing, whether you go with EOS, whether you go with Business Made Simple, whether you go with Action Coach. They're all have really good systems to bring you places, but make sure the person implementing it is there. And that's actually leads to the third one. Make sure there's implementation, that they have a good implementation or implement actionable plan that can bring you there, and they're going to stick with you through it all. Other than that, in general, that's what you should look for when you're looking for a coach or consultant. And if you ever kind of wonder if you find it or not, just start with a conversation. Start with that one-to-one.
That's really good advice. You hear a lot of coaches. They all do, great things, but having a coach tell you how to hire a coach, that's actually pretty that's pretty good advice. So I really like that. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
So there's two ways. Number one, I'm on LinkedIn, Nathan Rosenlund. That's probably my number one platform. Number two is just email me. You can find me on the web, www.kodiakcct.com, but email me or use LinkedIn DMs or email message me in them. I'll gladly have a conversation with you.
Perfect. And if anybody wants to reach out to Nathan, I highly recommend it. I'll have those links in the description, so it's easy for you to find. No reason hunting for it when I can just say, here you go. And other than that, if you prefer a three-way introduction, if you're a little bit more shy, feel free to ask me. I'm more than happy to make that introduction for you as well. But otherwise, if anybody out there would like to be interviewed as well, you can reach out to me directly. I have my link tree in the description as well. It's going to have all of my socials and my calendar link. I would love to have a conversation with you as well. But other than that, Nathan, I really appreciate you coming on. It was great hearing you and picking your brain a little bit. Hope you have an awesome day, and let's all get out there and meet some people. All right. It
Yeah. Thank you very much, Anthony, and you have yourself a wonderful day.
was my pleasure. Thanks again.